about this. Clint Eastwood did a movie about Iwo Jima and took these guys that had been in Iwo Jima and followed them back through America when they went on these hero tours, and how they was ruining them inside being called this name.
Yeah, because a lot of them don't own it. A lot of them don't feel they deserve it. But when I stood on that first stage, it was in Fort Benning, and I basically stood there and I said, I just want to be clear on one thing, that you're not my heroes. And initially, I think people probably reacted to that. And not just because I'm an Irish guy living in Canada, speaking in the United States, but I said, nor do I believe in societal terms it serves you. So, and I was speaking to the military, I said, and this is not a military issue, by the way, we could replace this, and I'll get to that in a minute. I said, when you walk into a Starbucks and you order a coffee, sometimes you don't even pay for the coffee because someone behind you or in front of you has paid for your coffee. Thank you for your service if you've got your uniform on. Or you walk into stores in America primarily and you get a discount because you're part of the military. Now that's a little bit different. But in essence, what we're doing is we're putting them onto pedestals. We do it with celebrities. We do it with people who are successful. We did it with people like Steve Jobs. Now, people like idolized him. Like put him on a pedestal, and people were literally lying in the streets of Tokyo and lying on the streets of Paris and lying on the streets of all over the world, mourning him, lighting candles in front of these vigils, and yet they'd never met him. And what did he do? I mean, no disrespect to him. He was a genius in what he did. But who was he? Like, who was he as a man, as a person? Like we emulate people. I mean, I tell you how obsessed we are putting people on pedestals. We are literally looking for people to put on pedestals. There was a time, and probably not that far back, in the early mid 70s, where a priest walked down the road in Ireland, you would step off the path to allow them walk past you. No disrespect to the priests, I'm not knocking it, but if they walk down the street today, I mean, someone might hit them because of all the scandals that have been going on. But when you put someone on a pedestal, they have to fall. So we're all equal, okay? Like, even people last night were treating me initially like as if I was some all-seeing eye or something, like I wasn't human. I was something special. There's nothing special about me. Nothing. More than anyone else. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And when we're all equal, it's brilliant. But then suddenly they allow us to put them onto a pedestal and push them up and push them up and push them up and push them up. And when they're standing at the top of that pyramid, when they're down here and they look left and right, they feel they're connected. They feel that they're not above everybody else. They feel that they can turn for help. But when they're pushed up to a pedestal and they look left and right, when they're at the top, there is no one left and right of them. Nobody. And there they feel they need to have all the answers. So we've seen it with doctors and dentists and things like that. We see it with politicians. We see it with celebrities. And back to the military, I said, here's the problem, ladies and gentlemen. When you leave the military, so these were transitioning soldiers moving from the military world into the civilian world. When you leave the military and you take off that uniform and you drop it on the ground or hang it up in your closet, who are you? When you take off your military uniform, and we could replace military uniform with business, with parenting. So as the kids leave the nest, who is the mother? Who is the father? More so the mother, because more mothers stay at home to look after their kids than men do. They invest not just so much in their children, but they invest so much of themselves. Their kids walk away, it's like, well, that was an interesting 20 years. Maybe it was very rewarding. Maybe it was spectacular. Maybe it was some of the most meaningful years of their lives. I get it. But who am I? And then they turn around to the stranger living with them, called their husband, and they go, and who are you, by the way? So what I'm saying is that we don't serve these men and women. We say that they serve the nation of America, or anywhere else for that matter. And the military, the US military, by the way, I'm not anti-US military, I'm not anti-US. They've done some incredible things in the context of the world. I don't agree with everything, but that's not the point. And I'm not there supporting the military, I'm there supporting these people. And when they take off their uniform, it's bad enough, but then they lose the hero status. And one of them had the courage to tell me, he said, have you ever heard the song, The Traveling Soldier, sung by the Dixie Chicks? And I said, no. And his wife refers to him as the traveling soldier. And it's this beautiful story in this song. And he said to me, I just asked her recently, because he's about to transition. He said, when I take off my uniform and I leave the military, will I be your traveling soldier? And she said, no. And he was tearing up in front of me. And he said, the following statement floored me, crushed me, because it's unnecessary. And he said, I won't be the hero to my wife, and I won't be the hero to my children. He has taken his whole identity as a man and as a parent and wrapped it up in a uniform. I get the commitment. I get it. But I'm saying that is unhealthy. When a recession hits a country, there's carnage, but there's also followed by a lot of suicides. When somebody loses their business, they don't just lose their business and their means of an income. They lose their identity to a point where they will stand on a bridge and jump. Stand on the edge of a building and jump. That's about identity. So how much of who we are is tied up in what we do? In societal terms today, it's extraordinary. You walk to a dinner party, it's like, hey, what do you do? I'm an accountant. I don't care what's on your mind. I don't care what you do. Tell me and show me who you are as an individual first and foremost. And that's the starting point of the relationship that I want to engage in.
What question do you ask people to get them to engage in that first? To watch the rest of this fascinating interview, click on the link below and go to londonrealacademy.com. There you can sign in with your social media, log in and watch the rest of the episode for free, along with all of our episodes on London Real, my webinars, and all of our premium content, all located over at londonrealacademy.com. So click on the link below, you'll be directed there and you can watch the rest of this fascinating interview, and I'll see you there.